following material contains strong language and adult content. Please be advised.
This is the Comfortably Poor Podcast, an uncensored, wide open, anything and everything goes podcast. You won't find anything like it. And why is that? Because the Comfortably Poor Podcast keeps it 100. Let's go.
Yeah, we are back.
I feel so important because like as soon as I hit that go live button, my phone started vibrating like a motherfucker, man.
You stupid as hell.
Like
Shit! Happy Sunday,
the
happy
alerts?
Lord's Day.
They were live.
Yeah, the alerts. Yeah, that we're live. Yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook, Periscope, all that good stuff. So we're all over the place. 442-244-9900 if you want to hit us up locally, and then 844-997-0775. We're going to be just chatting it up this morning and afternoon
Please
for some
call.
of you.
We're looking for your phone calls.
There's a lot to get to. How's everything been? Yeah, I guess some cheeks for Valentine's Day last week.
Oh, you best believe I had a fest. I had a fuck
boy.
festival in this bitch
We know Brando did.
I'm just trying to tell you. I had a fuck festival.
Yo.
And that's part of the reason why
So
we
tell
weren't here
me.
last Sunday. Brando was shriveled up like a raisin. So
Yeah, I
he
couldn't
had to
make it,
spend the
guys. I'm
day
sorry.
Hydrating.
He dried out.
He
I
had
had
to
to get
rehydrate
water.
on Sunday. Spend the day in the tub, getting rehydrated.
Oh my god. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
another
lying.
week. 3 new episodes dropped wherever you listen to your podcast at. Check us out. 3 new episodes dropped this week. New one dropping tomorrow. So go check those out. A lot of stuff on the agenda today, like Dan said. Where do you guys want to start?
I don't know, man.
We sent some good articles.
Well, Brando was sending some good stuff this morning too.
Hold on. I want to talk about
So-
this because me and you started this conversation based off a tweet that you sent. So let me
let's do it.
Well, it's your tweet. Do you know what you said basically?
So one of the things I know I say on this podcast a lot is I think that technology should have stayed to the rich. And
Facts,
I literally
not the first
had
time
that,
you've said that.
I've literally had that thought. Yesterday, I was in the mood. I was up early because I had slept early the night before, so I was in the mood to start, scouting YouTube for beats. And, dude, I came across so much fucking garbage. It was garbage.
Beat-wise?
Yes, like the drums were ass. Like it would be these hard ass loops and then these fucking shitty ass 808s. It was the worst shit ever, bro. And I remember back in 2016, 15 when I was beat scouting, and I just felt like there was so much better shit to choose from at that time. And now technology and shit has in the last 4 years specifically has made things have become so cheap and so available. You can make beats on your iPhone, and these people are like, yo, check out my beat, son. And they're just like, and they're just getting patted on the back by their baby mama or their cousins or whatever. And it's trash. And they're like, oh, you should start a YouTube page. I'll buy your beats. And they're trash rappers. And it's just like, like now I have to swift through so much garbage to get to fucking good shit. And it's because technology is cheap and these motherfuckers have the opportunity to buy shit.
So I'm not fully disagreeing with you on that. Here's my thing. And this is what I said to you. You started in this music game 13, 14, 15 years ago, right? 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yes, sir.
And for you, back then, I mean, there was Cubase, Fruity Loops, Cakewalk, all that kind of stuff. But you started just by grabbing a keyboard and going to town, right? Like that
I
was
was
kind
making
of
beats
your,
on a keyboard. Yep.
Right.
I had a
But it
6-track
took you a
sequencer
little
on
while.
my first keyboard.
Yeah. It took you a minute though, right? Like you had to hone your craft. You had to learn. You had to make shitty beats. You had to figure out your way. You had to figure out what worked, what didn't work, what sounded good, what didn't sound good. And then back then you had to get feedback from your friends, your family, or you had to throw something on a blank CD and give it out to people and have them listen to it. Today, everything is on YouTube. Everything is on SoundCloud. Everything is at your fingertips. So these young producers or quote unquote producers that, you know, have dreams of being producers, beat makers, their feedback is people dropping comments in the comment section of YouTube. It might be a shitty beat, but they're not going to hone their craft. They're not going to get better at their craft without getting that feedback from people. Like that's
Don't
just
clutter
the
up my
era that
shit. And that's the fucking shit I'm talking about, bro. That's how I know I'm an old head.
The YouTube algorithm, right? Like you start listening to some beat maker that you think makes dope beats, and then all these beat makers start showing up in your feed, right? Like some of that is the YouTube algorithm a little bit.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's weird that though a lot of these beats got fucking hundreds of thousands of views. Like, I'm like, how the fuck is this going on? I'm like, you're saturating the fucking, you know, it's so bad. It's so bad. And it's annoying for me, man. I get that people have to, like, experiment. And I think, like what I told you yesterday, you know, the difference is having a good idea or an idea of what's good enough to put out and not. You can't just put everything out that you just to see what people think. I would rather spend those, you know, 50 beats. Like I told you, I gave you an example. I make 50 shitty beats for 5 good ones. You know, that's like the goal. And you work your work ethic goes up. You don't just make a beat today and then put it out and go, yo, tell me what you think, or yo, I'm gonna put this out there. Because the thing is, they're tagging it just like real producers tag it, so that people can find those shits based on artists. But my whole thing is,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean, like how they're what they're putting in the title?
What they're putting in the title is literally, you know, matches, you know, what a really good beat sells or sounds like, or what is written on a really good beats title.
Can I add? So you guys know, especially Dan more than anybody, how I feel about today and where today's music is as far as hip hop goes. So you probably have a good idea of how I feel about today's beats. I tend to lean towards definitely like grimier, darker sort of feeling beats. But one thing I can definitely say though is, if you're going to make a beat, like, or no, let me rephrase, if you're going to go find beats, like I'm talking to the people, like if you're going to go beat hunting, there are places to go.
We say beat scouting.
Yeah, beat scouting. Exactly right. Yeah, if that's what you're on, I personally wouldn't go to YouTube. Not to say that YouTube doesn't have good beats, because I know they do. I know there are good beats to be found out there. It's just that YouTube is the beats. YouTube is a platform for media, so you're gonna have to go through a lot of just random shit to get to the fucking diamonds in the rough. I think there are websites that specialize in those diamonds that you should go to find beats rather than YouTube. And I think you'll be a lot happier with the product. Like the good beat to bad beat ratio is a lot better on those websites than on YouTube. That's what I did when I was actually like doing music and stuff. Like I went to like beat specific sites because that garbage on YouTube, like I agree with you. It's just like, wow. Like who's listening to this? Like who clicked on this and played it for 20 seconds?
Dog. And you know what's the fucked up shit about YouTube? YouTube, all you need is 3 seconds. And it counts as a view.
So all you need is 3 seconds?
All you need is 3 seconds, daddy.
3 seconds.
Yo.
3 seconds.
Yo. There literally is a fucking a stat under your all your like stats where it shows your views and shit. And one of the stats is people who have played your video longer than 3 seconds.
Oh wow. That's nuts.
It's lovely.
I'll take it.
You.
I mean, a play is a play. A view is a view. We're in an age of
Well,
views, people.
listen.
We're in an age of views.
I don't necessarily disagree, but that kind of lends to the idea that it doesn't take much. Like those people could have just been Dan. A lot of those people could just be just like Dan. These beats are ass. I only listen to shit for 3 seconds. I'm going to go find something else. So that view really doesn't tell us much about what those people think about the beats. Did you take a look at one of the most fun part of a YouTube video is often the comments. Did you take a look at the comments on that shit?
Oh, comments.
Oh, I love comments.
Great.
Comments are delicious.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Comments
spend my
wonderful.
time reading so many comments.
Speaking of comments,
Comments?
me and Adam were on a
comments on
Facebook post the
anything.
other day talking about that. Yeah, me and Adam were on a Facebook post the other day talking. He was like, I came here for the comments. I'm like, yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah.
that was
Did
on
you
our
like
big
my
shout out,
comment
Sam.
back to that fucking
was-
middle-aged bitch?
Yes, Sam. Yes, fucking Sam.
Oh, my God, dude.
Jesus. I was not about to get involved in that
fucking-
hairball.
Oh, dude, I love railing into dumb cunts. Especially when you throw the narrative out there that you know more because of your
Welcome
age.
to the
I hate
Comfortably
that
Poor
shit
Podcast,
so much.
people.
Yeah.
If this is your first time
CP
joining
Pod
us, this is your
100.
introduction to Dan.
If you didn't know.
It's spicy.
Wide open,
It's spicy.
unfiltered Dan.
Yeah, it's called raw. Just like I go into my bitches. Well, now listen to this.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We are here with Black Adam, Dick Dan, and Brando Shitass and Collins.
Yeah. All that. That part. All right. Again, toll free 844-997-0775. If you want to join in the
Somebody's gonna clip
conversation.
that.
Shitty beats, anything that you come across on YouTube that you're not a fan of, all that kind of good stuff. Let us know. Let Dan know, because he's the one that's very angry.
And if you need beats, like I got good
am
beats.
angry.
I got good beats. I got
You know
He is
how much I value time? Do you know how much I fucking value time? In a sense of like, I don't like eating. I love to eat food, but like I eat fast to get back to do more shit.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like I never sit there and just like, just savor the food. I fucking eat and I go about my business. I really fucking can't stand
It's like, I don't got
just
time for
wasting
this
time.
shit, goddammit.
Yeah, dude, I
don't-
fucking
like,
hate that
agree
shit.
with
I
you.
really do.
I definitely wouldn't want.
I'm trying to
like a
add
bird.
as much in my day as possible. So when I'm scouting beats, I get there's a little looking process. I'm not going to be a fucking complete but if I go beat scouting for 2 hours,
So what?
I don't know how
what
long I
makes a
beat
shitty
scouted
beat?
yesterday.
What makes a shitty beat? When you're scrolling through and you click on a beat, what makes it shitty to you? What is
Nowadays,
is it a
bro,
sound? Are they
whack
out of
ass
rhythm?
drums.
What is drums? Okay.
whack
There's a lot of
ass
things that make a
drums,
shitty
bro.
beat to me. I can
You're
go
not
on about that for
mixing.
about 30
You're not
minutes.
mixing your drums right. The 808s. You didn't use the right 808. Drum selection. Like a lot of these young cats still don't understand sound selection.
Right.
When you make beats now, it's not like you can throw a fucking drum kit from 2004 and think you can get away with making a beat like that. People know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'll give you that.
And so, like, a lot of that factors into it, you know, sound selection to the mix of the drums to, like I said, there'll be these hard-ass loops, and I'm like, bruh, part of me wants to even fucking steal this loop.
Here's
so I can
here's
make
a question
better
too.
beat.
Since you brought up loops, big shout out Slim. He got into making beats, you know, in the last 20 years or so. Was using Reason and all this kind of stuff, and he's under well, not so much now, but he always followed the rule that using a loop is kind of like cheating in the beat making world. If you can make your beat more every sound and is your rhythm, it's your own loop. You make your own loops by picking your sounds and making your beats and all that kind of stuff. And that
Learn some
That's an old school mentality. That's an old school mentality, and let me tell you something.
So where do you guys stand with that?
And he
like
would
using
definitely
loops?
fail. He would definitely fail today in the music industry, unfortunately.
Well,
and I say that
I
with
mean,
all the
Come
love in
across
the world.
using loops a little bit, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let me be honest, bro.
You have people on
Loops-
your team who make loops now.
Yeah, I don't have
what you do,
I don't have
like,
a
as a
problem with
producer.
loops. I don't have a problem with loops. My whole thing is, if you're going to use loops and only loops, your life as a producer is going to be limited to that. Growth in anything is going to be expansion. You're going to have to be able to learn some new. That's what I was quoting just now. Tyler the Creator once said that. He was like, I learned some new chords while you uncreatives were sampling. That's what he's talking about. Like, it's one thing to sample and use loops and do stuff like that, but at some point you're going to have to learn how to play new chords. You're going to have to come up with your own loops. And the funny thing is, I'm not a producer. I'm not a producer under any stretch of the imagination. I've co-produced quite a bit. And through co-producing, I've learned to just use even things around me and my mouth to come up with my own loops. It's not something that I heard before. It's something that I'm doing in my head that sounds good to me. And I can do that. And I can do that for a producer. And a producer can be like, okay, so that's what this could sound like with this instrument. That's what that could sound like with this instrument. And then I pick it from there. So at some point, yes, you should branch out, but I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with loops. And I also would, to Slim's point, say that there is a certain amount of creativity to be found in creating your own chords.
right. And I think that's
Playing
where
your own
he was.
chords.
Like he started using loops a little more now for his like melodic tones because you know, he doesn't really know how to play the piano or that kind of stuff. Like, so when he wants like a nice piano riff, he might go find a dope loop just because that's not his forte right now. Now he can be pretty sick on the drums, but you know, when he wants a certain tone or a certain sound that he just doesn't have the chords down at this point, you know, then it's just easier to go find a fucking loop and just be like, boop, done and done, you know, and then he'll mix it up. He'll you know, reverse it or throw some shit on it and, you know, tweak it and add a little reverb and make it sound nice. But then, you know, we used to get in debates about this, that, you know, he was in that old school mentality. And y'all know Slim. Slim is an OG. He's got that old school mentality about him anyway. So, you know, you know, it took me and
honestly, I can't hate him for it. I've got it
okay
too.
to use loops. You know, it's okay to use loops and be like, nah, that ain't a beat. You can't make a beat using a loop. That's cheating. Blah blah blah.
You are just
But no,
as
he
much of a
doesn't, so.
producer if you throw drums on a loop as somebody creating that loop. And I'm going to tell you, like, producer teams, bro, there's producer teams now. People you have on staff that are just constantly submitting loops. We have that in Blind and Famous.
Right.
Blind and Famous, I have a whole folder right now separated by producers of just loops that they've made for the gang so that we can use if we ever need it.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is. Like, you know, you use that shit. You use that shit.
You do.
And you, like I said, I brought up before a mix, right? A mix is so important. A lot of people forget how important, mixing your beats is and knowing what compression is and knowing how, what parallel compression is and all that stuff and making sure that those drums hit both for club speakers and for cars and for radio and for, everything. You got to know some sound.
As people
it's
who
a science.
Have made music, been in music, Brando, Dan, maybe Dan more than you, Brando. I think you're more the rapper versus the beat maker. But do you have a routine for making a beat? Like you're gonna stack this first. You're gonna make this first. You're gonna get this rhythm. You're gonna go for this first. Like, do you have when you sit down and you're at your keyboard and you want to start?
Oh, it's whatever comes.
Down. Yeah.
It's whatever comes. I definitely, as I've gotten older, I have a tougher time creating something over a drum loop. So, like, if I make a drum loop or a drum pattern, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going to vibe out to that drum pattern for 50 hours before I even think about a melody before. And I don't know what it is, but, like, it amazes me when I was younger how many melodies came to my head, and now I just have such a struggle. Such a struggle, man.
Like,
but melody comes first.
Completed product.
No, just
completed beat.
Coming up with a concept. I can build on a concept.
Okay. Gotcha.
I can build on the concept. I'm like, I would love some of these airy sounds in the background, whatever. But just making sure that I'm coming up with a concept that doesn't sound like anything before is what I always fear. And it's a confidence thing, right? It's you got to continuously build your confidence so you're not second guessing.
So that's a good question. As a beat maker, I guess you basically just said that, but that is a battle that you have to have with yourself. That is like, am I making something that I feel like it's my own, but if I listen closely enough, this is actually something that I've heard already, or it's very similar to something
that's
that I've
a
heard
personal
already?
fear because honestly, bro, the way you make it today is by making a beat that sounds like something today. Like
That's
literally
true.
is
That's
what's
right.
happening.
Fuck exactly.
You know? So it's an insecurity that I have as a musician. Because when I used to play keys, I played keys as part of like bands and like I just always had this idea that as a musician things have to be more complicated than they don't. So it's a battle of mine. But that's why people listen, like not even using loops, but that's why people even sit down and listen to loops to kind of generate ideas and to really kind of craft something and build something around those chords. So.
Yeah, I'm not a beat maker. I appreciate a good beat. I love listening to people make beats because I think it really gives you an idea of someone's creative process. It gives you a glimpse into kind of their mind and how their mind works when you see someone like me and Slim used to chop it up all the time and sit here and I'd just sit here and listen to him make a beat. And when I was out in Arkansas and he came out to Arkansas for a minute, it was the same thing. We'd be sitting there just smoking and he'd be making a whole beat. It's a cool process because it's like you said, taking a concept, like, okay, I want this, like he made this kind of like jungle vibe, kind of hip hop beat. And he's like, I got this concept. I want to use something with like bongo type drum sounds. And that was his concept. That was his thing. And then he just took that and boom, 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 knocked it out. And now he had this dope beat that kind of had this cool like bongo drum sound to it, and with a hip hop vibe, and it was just kind of cool watching someone take a concept.
It's inspirational.
And then putting it to work. Yeah. I'm
white
as shit, so I don't have any rhythm, and I can't follow the fucking metronome if the someone put a gun to my head.
Seeing Question do it though, like I remember
Shout out
recently
Question.
he just showing how he had put a loop of a train in his beat, and
like a train
as a background sound.
choo-choo train. Like, what do you mean?
yeah, like a chugga
You're
chugga
dumb
chugga.
as fuck.
Okay.
You sound like a choo-choo train.
That's awesome though.
That Question's
And-
definitely a talented cat.
And I say that to say one of the biggest things that him and I talk about all the time is my love for math and our love for math. We hated math in school. But becoming beat makers, our love for math has grown because all music production is fucking math. You're literally just counting bars,
Yeah.
clicks, beats.
It's the bars and beats and yeah.
And you're halving things and you're multiplying things. And that's how you do hi-hat rolls. You know what I'm saying? Knowing 64th notes. So knowing that's how you do
That's
fast
the music
rolls
theory,
and knowing
right?
where to insert
Is that
them
what they
properly.
talk about when they talk about music theory?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 64th notes, 32nd notes, right? All that
Isn't
stuff
that probably
is
one
all.
of the? Isn't that kind of what they say is one of the
But
more
it's
difficult
counting.
things to understand? Is like music theory.
Music theory when it comes to melodies,
Okay.
because reading music and reading music scales, modes, all that stuff is a little tougher. Where knowing how to count music though is literally just math. You know,
Gotcha.
measuring spoons and measuring, like quarter notes, eighth notes. You want to place this hi-hat or this lower pitched hi-hat in the 16th note of this beat.
Right.
And that's all
Okay.
you're doing is inserting.
And it's finding it's like Slim used to describe it to me. It's like putting the pieces in the puzzle. So it's like you're finding what fits and where it fits, how to make it fit. Like, oh, like you're removing a part of a beat because you want it to drop out right here. Well, it's like, is this the right spot for it to drop out, or does it need to drop out here? Are you adding it back here? Like, you're kind of.
And that's all math,
once
right? Because you
it's
want to
just
know how
rearranging it,
long
right?
you
Yeah.
when you're mapping out your beat, you want to know how long you're making your verses. So, okay, if you're gonna make a 16
Yeah.
bar verse, but the first 4 bars are gonna have no hi-hats or rim shot, and it's just a kick.
Yeah.
To bring it back at the that's probably 36th bar.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all math.
Makes sense. Makes
When
sense.
a song is done, it's probably about like an average 3-minute song is between 90 to 120 something bars.
Man, it's so crazy. And I think we talked about this before, maybe on an episode or one of our earlier lives. 90s music was 4.5, 5 minutes long.
Yep. Every fucking
now-
song that I write has 3 verses. Every song I write has 3 verses. When I hear people talking about, and when I first started seeing this new trend of songs that have 2 verses, and the first time I even had to write a song that was more of a friendly single-ish song, for pop consumption that had 2 verses, it was a horrible experience for me because that is not what I'm accustomed to. I didn't come up off that shit, bro. My songs are like legit 5-6 minute long songs. Sometimes my songs have 4 verses. The last song that I released like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, had 4 verses. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
I remember.
Yeah, 4 verses. Yeah, so I
4
don't know, dude.
verses. 4 verses, quite a long song there though.
It's a long song, bro. It's a long song.
Yeah.
It's a long
Everybody
song
wants
today.
that 2
It's a long
minute,
song
30
today.
second song.
Well,
Why do you think that
they
is?
want this, it's the
Was
same.
it
I'll
just
tell you
people
why.
don't have the attention span for it?
People
More
people
music
want
on a
those short
album?
musics. People want those short music sounds and those short songs for the same reason that they only listen to YouTube videos that are 10 minutes for 5 minutes. It's just
Okay.
where we are generationally. They're not listening to songs like that. Yes, it could be attention span. Yeah, it could be time allotted to them. Some people just don't have the time. Some people just don't care. Some people don't care to get in depth, which is part of the
Honestly,
reason
I can really just
why
say
I think
it like he
people
said.
don't listen to these episodes that long either. Like I very few people have finished an entire YouTube live show of us. I can guarantee it. And the people that have been
I'm
rocking
sure.
with
They
us
always
from
listen
the beginning.
from start to
Oh,
end.
they
I don't know what
listen.
you're talking about.
Oh, they listen. No question, they listen. But they're not finishing this shit.
Yeah.
Very few.
Finish these, goddammit.
Very few.
Sometimes we don't even start warming up until an hour in. That's when we really let it rip.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, that's when Adam starts farting on microphones and shit. That's when it happens.
I don't do that.
Oh, Jesus. Good Lordy, Lord.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe. Oh, I'm gonna drop my pants pretty soon, so don't worry. We'll make it interesting.
What the hell is going on?
Yo.
Things happen. Things happen. I can't.
Yeah, beans happen, nigga. Beans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Food, nigga.
that
That's
was
what happens.
Taco Bell plus white man.
Yeah, that was white man. Taco Bell plus white man. That was Panda Express, nigga.
Yeah. Hashtag CP chat on Twitter if you want to chat with us, ask us questions. Hit us up toll free 844-997-0775, local 442-244-9900. And let us know what's going on. Talk to us. Let us know questions, comments, anything that we've been talking about so far. I want to transition a little bit, but keep it on the topic of music here. And maybe this is a little more specific to us, but maybe we'll have some people out there that have similar situations. So there is, and maybe this is just my rant. This is my Adam gets mad and angry and wants to rant about shit. So I don't watch this anymore, but it came across my YouTube feed. There was a girl on American Idol that just came back. She's a blind girl. And she got the pass, whatever, going to Hollywood. Good job. Hooray, hooray. My problem was in her story, and I watched the whole damn video, in her story, they made it like this big deal that she was blind and can sing. And my problem with this, and this can be applied to a lot of people with some sort of disability, whatever you want to call it. When somebody does something normal, like sing, let's say, but they're blind or maybe have Down syndrome or cerebral palsy or whatever it may be, there's this like correlation of like, oh my God, you're such a beautiful singer for a blind person. My problem is being blind has nothing to do with being able to sing. Like, just because your fucking eyes don't work doesn't mean your voice doesn't work. Doesn't mean your ears don't work. And it just, I guess because we're blind people and I just have this like different view of kind of how blind people are perceived in the public eye. When somebody comes on TV like that and they make this big deal out of being able to sing and they're blind, and so it's like, oh, I'm blind, I'm a blind singer. No, you're a person that can sing well who happens to be blind. And then they make this big deal out of it. Like, that drives me up the fucking wall. It has nothing to do with anything. Yet
Dude.
people want to like put it all over TV like it's this big deal.
I hate TV.
Yeah, yes.
I hate TV.
Well, I love TV, but I hate TV in that sense.
I hate the structure of TV, and that's why I've always loved radio.
I hate how people cut shit together. That part, the editing
There's
side.
radio, like radio is just so much more freedom than you'll ever believe, you know? The fact that we can open the microphones for 15 seconds, fucking say what we want. Just as long as, you know what I'm saying? We don't curse on the air. TV people are robots. And the creators of TV shows are robots. They don't give a fuck. They're going to exploit the shit out of this, bro. And you know how I know it's all full of shit? It's like I told you with The Voice before. There was a blind guy that Sam knew. Who was her friend's ex-boyfriend who made it onto the show. He already had established shit. He already had albums out. And he made it on The Voice. They don't want to create an artist. They want to take somebody who already has something or they want to exploit the shit out of the blindness. Which, I mean, that's why I really would say today, I'll put my fucking foot down and say, blind people never audition for a fucking one of these shows again.
I don't know, dude. Like,
because you're only going to be looked at as the blind singer. You're not going to be looked at as somebody. You're not going to be looked into.
That's something we get. That's something we get constantly. Like, if you do something that is perceived as normal, like, because being visually impaired or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's a minority status essentially. Yeah. You are a minority at this point. You are blind. You're a minority. Even if you're not blind and you're legally blind and you have to put glasses on or whatever to read print, like, you're a minority. So all of these things would be seen as not normal. So when people who have vision, perfect vision, who are normal essentially on all scales, which no one is really, but they're going to perceive themselves as that, see that you do something like make music, like play a sport, like travel out of the country, like swim, like anything like that, they're going to perceive it as amazing. And again, I've said this in a few other podcasts, but the reason they perceive it as amazing is because they're projecting themselves onto you. They think that if they were in your situation, they couldn't do it. They are so shocked because it's like, wow, they're doing this essentially with the very thing that I rely on to get me out of bed, to get me to work, to get me from school, from home to work to school, vice versa. All of these things they rely on, you don't have, yet somehow you're doing it. And they're thinking how they couldn't do it and how difficult it would be for them. When the only thing the girl is really doing is opening up her mouth and singing. That has nothing to do with her eyes. It has nothing to do with optic nerves. It has nothing to do with the part of the brain that uses vision. It has everything to do with vocals. And somehow people equate rock climbing and singing and music making and all of these things to your ocular cavity. And I think that is some of the strangest shit. But it's self-projection at its core.
Well, and then, she was good. She wasn't bad. But,
no, of course not.
I've heard way better singers. And if we want to play the blind guard, I've heard way better blind singers. Shout out Sam. This Sam was better than this girl. I don't know. It was just one of those things. It came across on my YouTube feed this morning. I was just like, what is this? And so I clicked on it. And then
I know it's an older video. So, but this is really just a test to everything that I've talked about before. It's all blind porn. They want you to fucking feel bad. They want a story. And if they can run with a story, they got it. I fucking hate TV. I hate how done up you have to be. I hate that's why that MSNBC shit happened. Because the only other fucking bet of that woman saying that shit about Kobe Bryant within the hour of him dying, the only thing that I can really say, and this was proposed to me by somebody else, was that somebody had fucked with her and put her on the teleprompter, right? But what does that say about them? They're a fucking robot. You're just reading that shit. You don't have any personality to look at that shit and go, okay, you know what?
She said what she said.
Yes.
Like, I'm still not convinced that she said.
You think she said? You think she said Nakers? You really do? You're
do.
that ignorant?
Yeah, I do.
How?
I do.
But hang on.
How, dude?
Yeah.
Do you think she said Nakers or Knickers?
I think she definitely mixed up Knicks and Lakers, and I'd have to listen to it again because I don't remember exactly. But I think it was like
I
Knackers
definitely,
and
I'm not
Knickers.
buying it. I'm not buying it, but I'll put it like this, bro.
Bullshit.
Hang on, time out. I'm gonna put it like this.
That's such bullshit,
whatever
bro.
she said. Yeah, it is
What does the
bullshit, but
Knicks
here's
have to
the
do with Kobe?
Nothing at all, and that's kind of the whole point, dude. Like whatever.
What does the
mistakes
Knicks
she may
have to do
made,
with
there are
fucking
mistakes
Kobe?
that
She's
you cannot
full of
come back
shit.
from. You can have a child, and it can be a mistake, but whatever mistake you made, you still have a kid now. Your body's fucked up, your pussy's stretched out.
1,000%.
She's lost her job, and that's what happens when you don't obviously watch what the fuck you say. You need to watch what the fuck you're saying. If you're gonna confuse something that's that,
Just don't be a fucking
separate,
robot, dude.
Those two things that are
Don't
that
be a
separate,
fucking robot.
The Knicks and the Lakers.
But see, I mean, it's old news. But here, I'm gonna say it one more time.
Full of shit.
As someone who was reporting the news and had to report this story, I don't think she is a sports reporter. Should she know the difference between the Knicks and the Lakers? Probably. But there's a million women I could ask that same question. They'd be like, I don't know who the Knicks are. I don't know who the Lakers are. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you realize that?
And so I think
the Knicks and the Lakers are two different words altogether.
Yes,
like, it's not even about sports at this point.
I think I think what she was. The Knicks are a large market team and the Lakers are a large market team. She just was assuming Knicks, said Lakers. I don't know. It didn't.
There's no explanation, bro.
Like
I know you're trying to stick up for your white folk. I know you're trying to stick up for your white folk, just like the black gays did for Jesse Smollett.
Don't make it a fucking race thing. It's not a race thing. Fuck out of here. No, I think if you slowly listen to it back, there's I don't even hear the G. The K and the G sound similar, but no. I don't think someone is that ignorant.
I love how fast white people want to step away from the fucking race card, bro.
I'm not stepping away from it, but don't fucking put me in the categories defending the white people. Fuck out of here. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't think that's the word.
How did you not
I'm defending
hear?
the word that is being said. I'm not defending her. I'm not hearing N-I-G. I'm hearing N-I-K or whatever.
Nah,
I'm
bro.
hearing
I
a K,
straight up
not a G.
heard N-I-G.
All right, now, look, this is old news, but I'm going to go play this shit.
Yeah, you know why? And you know why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, bro.
MSNBC,
and it's not even in.
it?
It's not even the N. It was not even in the G or the K. It was the pause. It was the oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, but do you remember the reporter that was there with her that was like,
that,
oh my god, in the background?
Dude.
Like, do you remember that?
You know
like,
what my favorite thing is? My favorite thing is watching reporters reacting to reporters lose their shit.
I'll give you that.
Like that is so entertaining. Oh man.
Let me get this pulled up. Actually, I do love going on YouTube and watching like broadcast bloopers, like just to like.
Oh, some of the best things in the world.
Butchering shit, like.
Do you remember the fucking right in the pussy challenge?
Oh yeah.
That started off as a prank,
so
dude. It
good.
started off as a prank.
That redneck just got up in the reporter's face and said, "Fuck her right in the pussy."
This was, and then people were doing it to live TV sets. I gotta play a compilation for you, or I'll just send it to you, brother, so you can play it. Such an incredible compilation of the fucker right in the
The only one
pussies.
that's popping up right away is the Breakfast Club of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, they took the fucking clip down?
The Breakfast Club thinks the same way.
Of course they do. They always think the worst about white people.
Not necessarily.
Well, you guys are a jar of mayonnaise.
Sometimes they can be pretty. Sometimes they can be pretty charitable to white people, all things considered.
Yeah, shit, I can't.
There's a reason they took that shit down too. You know why they took that shit down.
Hell yeah, boy.
I'm not. Like, we're not about to leave this shit up.
Okay, here we go. What was the other clip you were talking about?
Which clip?
Did you say you had?
I'm gonna put it in your Dropbox.
Oh, you got, okay.
It's gonna be an MP3.
All right, let's see if this one works.
Yeah, it seems like he was just the kind of athlete, the kind of star that was perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita
Los Angeles what?
Look at the pause.
cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita,
Did she not say it?
like the kind of star that was perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita, if I could ask you to
She
stay
did.
with
You can hear a K. I 100% can hear a K. She says the Los Angeles Lakers.
I
Like,
hear
she
your
just catches
K. I don't
herself.
hear hers.
You hear what?
I hear
He said
Adam's
he
K. I
hears
don't hear
my
hers.
K, not hers.
Yeah, I think you're throwing a K in there for KKK. We get it. So
Okay.
and I KKKER. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Of course.
Don't get sports. If this is really a case of mistaken identity, then this should be a lesson for all people in media right now. Like, here now, don't have people who are not supposed to be talking about sports to talk about sports. If that's really the case. But I think that's stupid, because I can almost guarantee you that most of the people who would ever report on sports would never get something like that confused.
This is what I'm
I don't,
saying.
but that's my thing, is that I don't think she normally reports on sports. It was just a breaking news. It was
I don't
such
think people who don't
a
normally
tragic-
report on sports would get those things confused.
Well,
I don't
then
think you would.
shut.
I
I
think
don't
they
think
would.
Dan would.
I
don't
think there's
I don't
people
think
that would.
anybody
I've seen plenty of people confuse sports and confuse sports teams with, if you don't know shit about
basket
sports.
foot, like hockey, not knickers, niggers. Perfectly cast in the Los Angeles niggers.
The pause. Does the pause not tell you that was just like, it was just like a ramp? It was like swinging a bat and ready to
I
fucking
think
hit
the
it.
only
Like,
pause is
oh,
there's just
shit.
she corrects herself. She just is
Wait,
pausing to
time
correct
out,
herself.
time out. I will say this though. This is what I will
She
say.
wound up.
I don't, and I said this before. I want to get it out here. I'm glad we're live, so this can be on record. I don't know if this lady is a racist or not. I really don't know. She might low-key like black penis. I really have no idea what goes on off the scenes.
No, she
I don't
definitely
know.
does. She just has to play
I
a
don't know.
racist on TV for her
I
dad.
have no idea, but what I do know is that people have a tendency to let what they actually think slip when they're not paying attention to, like, when they're not being very careful about the words that they're saying in the moment. People who are used to saying something usually will say it on accident later. Now, again, I'm not saying that this. I don't know. I don't know anything about this lady. I don't know anything about her life.
But
I don't pay her
also,
bills. I don't watch
once
anything.
somebody hears something or they're told that a word is said, people will hear what they want to hear too. A lot of that happens all the time.
That happens. That is true. I
People,
will say
you
that
tell
does happen.
the whole world that this lady says NIGG, and the whole world's gonna hear it that way.
But my whole
They're not
thing
gonna
is,
stop
if this is
to
if a
really
K
listen to
if a
it.
K is objectively there, someone with the right engineering sources should be able to separate that word and pull that K out. They should be able to isolate.
Well, not. I mean, we can isolate it ourselves and slow it down. I mean, that's the whole reason why I
Did you do that?
feel, but I heard some other people do it. I heard some other people, they isolated the word, they slowed it down, and you can clear as day hear a k, not a g.
Hey, listen.
So-
Okay, so I'm going to say this. I have no problem being wrong. I have nothing invested in her actually saying this word or not saying
Of
the word.
course.
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it's a
But what
debate that everybody had for a week after it happened. Everybody was talking about it. I mean,
to me, it's not really much of a debate, dude. People have said racist shit on TV since time immemorial.
I 100% agree with that.
You know, this is nothing new, and this isn't the last time. At some point down the line, someone else is going to make another slip up, or someone else is going to be very blatant, or someone else is going to say something they really mean on a hot mic in a joking way, maybe even to a person that's next to them. Who knows? But these things come out. Whether or not she actually said what we think she said or what it sounds like, I have no fucking idea. But at this point, I'm not hearing the K, you know. But hey, listen, new evidence can always change my mind.
Maybe we'll do it in a future episode this week. I'm not going to sit here and try and isolate it while we're doing our live show, but maybe we'll do a follow-up to it next Sunday. If you're tuning in now, we'll do a follow-up to this. It's a few weeks old now. It's done and over with, but just because we're talking about it now, well,
The question is
I'm going to isolate it,
What's
and
she
I'm going to
doing
slow it
nowadays?
down. And I have no idea. I don't even know if it ever came out that she lost her job. I'm assuming she did. Does anybody know that?
I feel like they just probably demoted her. I don't know if she lost it. I don't know.
Yeah. She's
Just go back to
scrubbing toilets
stupid
now.
weekend anchor. You only get Saturdays, you dumb bitch. Go do weather. Shut up.
Dump them out, baby. Dump them out. Show your tits.
MSNBC
Yeah,
can go fuck
that
themselves
would-
with this
that would
fucking
be-
Chris
that'd be
Matthews
awesome.
shit.
Go ahead. I'm even
Equating
wrong.
the fucking Nazi takeover of the French
Show us what the niggers
to
really
Bernie
like.
Sanders winning. That's fucking crazy. Fuck Chris
wait.
Matthews.
Chris
fuck
Matthews
MSNBC.
equated what? What did he do to Bernie Sanders? What is?
The Nazi takeover of the Nazi invasion of the French to Bernie Sanders fucking winning
Is
the
Chris
caucuses
Matthews, like,
last night.
Is he like conservative or is
No,
he
he's a reporter on MSNBC.
But is he conservative though? Like, I mean, why is he? Why?
No. He's a centrist Democrat. They want they don't want Bernie to win. They want Buttigieg.
Oh, the cute dude, the mayor.
Biden. I don't know, man.
I don't fucking either.
So, Brando,
I
you
understand.
said you wanted to talk about some capital punishment today. Hey, again, 844-997-0775. You want to talk about the Kobe Bryant thing? I know it's old news. You want to talk about people making shitty beats, shitty videos on YouTube? Hit us up. Let us know. 844-997-0775. Hashtag CP Chat on Twitter. And we'll check it out there as well. Would you want to talk about capital punishment, Brando?
Okay,
Drop some knowledge on us.
Well, it's actually more of a
That's a big pun album.
yeah. Capital Punishment is a
Indeed.
good album.
A
Actually.
great album, by the way.
Very, very wonderful album.
Yes.
It's probably a classic in my opinion. So capital punishment as far as the death penalty in this specific instance.
In any specific
honestly-
city?
No, just full stop. In the I guess, firstly, America in general, and then after that, just in general to people. Is capital punishment something that we should be doing? It's a big thing now. Like we've been talking about, it's a controversial topic. Um, is capital punishment something that we should be doing? Should we not do it? First off, I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Like, what do you guys think about capital punishment? And then I guess we can start from there. I can go from there.
Adam, go.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think not enough states are for it and then don't act on it. And then as taxpayers, we pay to house all these fucking people. I'm on board with what Texas does. Texas fucking kills people every other day. They handle their business.
Yeah, boy.
Oregon has it, but we got people who have been on fucking death row for 25 years, and it's just like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, handle your business. Let's get this thing rolling.
Bruh, that's money.
Yeah.
If
So
you're going to kill him, just kill him.
it. And then too, like if it's something that's available in your state, it's something that the state does, and you have an individual that goes to trial. The trial goes the full length of time, whatever. Jury deliberates, comes back, guilty, yada yada. Judge says you're sentenced to death. The victim's family hears this and gets to have their, closure with this. How does it not kind of slap them in the face by just letting this person live like for another 20 years? Like if the punishment is death, shouldn't it be death? Like that's the punishment. But yet, this victim's family is sitting here thinking, okay, this person's gonna, pay for what they did to my family member. Yet he's still sitting here on death row, still living. And sometimes death row inmates, I'm not going to say that they have it better by any means, but it's not always as difficult where versus some of the inmates in like general population and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's true.
I feel like it's kind of like a slap in the face.
Yeah. Dan?
No, I pretty much agree with what Adam said here. I don't really have much to add to that.
I personally don't know, honestly. Like I don't know where. That's one of those things where I actually don't know where I stand on like capital punishment. Like I don't have a stance on it, and I really don't know. I want to have one,
which is interesting because I feel like you go one way or the other on just about all topics, like however you feel about something.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's kind of what I mean. Like I want to have one, and so some of the reasons I think. Okay, so arguments for capital punishment. So like, some people say it's a deterrent, right? Like it can stop people who would a murderer is not going to just murder anyone willy-nilly if he just feels like he's going to lose his life afterward, especially if it's a guarantee if he's ever caught. But I don't think that's a good argument for capital punishment because a lot of people who commit crimes where they know they are likely to experience something like that are going to kill themselves. And then that person that they hurt or killed is still therefore like dead or raped or whatever the fuck it is that would make a person liable to be put on death row. Another reason people say that, capital punishment is a valid thing is the eye for an eye thing. It's kind of like giving your family closure. You killed a bunch of people. Why exactly would we spend 40, 50, 60 more years keeping your life in prison, paying for your life and keeping you up, your medical shots and your heart condition and everything else up to date in prison while you kill people? Why would we pay for that? Why wouldn't we just get rid of you immediately? And I think I actually think that's a lot better of an argument, honestly, because I am not for paying for the lives of murderers and rapists who are just sitting around in prison.
Agree.
I'm not for that at all.
And I think a lot of people would agree with
pedophiles, all that shit.
I'm not for it. I'm not for it.
Just kill him.
So
If you got him there, you got him there. And I think
Hashtag just kill him.
just kill him. And you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I understand that there's so many cases of people that are wrongfully sentenced, you know? There are cases of that. But, like, most of the time, if they're sentenced to death, you got the motherfucker, bro.
well, so yeah, that was.
You don't have to do this investigation and shit. Yeah, right, yeah. Like, you don't have to do this investigation and shit. Like, come on.
That's a huge counter to it, and I think that's actually deserves a lot of attention. Right now in prison, there are people who didn't do it. Right, there is a subset of people in there who did not do it, and they are going to be in there for the rest of their lives. There are people who are in prison right now who didn't do it, who are going to be in there for the next 15 or 20 years, and there are people who have been freed by various presidents, some different DNA groups, not DNA, I'm sorry, like scientific groups that have gotten together to scan DNA and compare it to old case files, and found out that certain people just did not have anything to do with it. But they didn't know that at the time, because when the crime was committed, they didn't have this technology. So they reopened certain case files, cold or otherwise, or it seemed closed or questionable cases, and they go over the problems that people have. This says this, but well, let's compare it now that we have fingerprinting technology or DNA or mitochondrial, this, that, and the other, nuclear, whatever the fuck it might be. And they find out that people were not even in the state, people were not there, this DNA doesn't match that DNA. And hundreds of people have been let go in the past, 20 years or so.
Yes.
We also know for a fact that there are a good number of people who we have executed based on those same tests who just didn't do it. And that, to me, is a big fucking problem. Because here's the thing. If I do not want to live in a country that's wrongfully executing anybody. That could be me. That could be my children. That could be family members. Especially as a person who's a minority. I have no interest in being in a place that's just doing that. Especially when.
So what do you think has to be done to make sure that those things aren't happening?
To make sure that, I'm glad you brought that up. So that's the spinoff, right? So the way, in order for us to have capital punishment or anything like capital punishment, even, I think there has to be criminal justice reform, and I think there needs to be police reform. And it has to be a serious overhaul of our criminal justice system. And that's going to include police. It's going to include pretty much law enforcement all the way up to the whole judge, all the way up to the judges. We have to figure out a way to make it a lot more fair, because it's not fair. It's not fair. It hasn't been fair. And it's definitely rigged in the favor of the majority. And that's problematic. And as long as it's like that, people are going to be wrongfully imprisoned. People are going to be profiled incorrectly, and people are going to be executed wrongfully. Now, I agree, the majority of people who are in prison for very good reason, And I agree that the majority of people who have been executed were executed for rightfully so under the law. But if 10 people out of 1,000 were executed wrongfully, that's too many, because as soon as you start amping up the numbers to millions, it becomes thousands of people who were executed wrongfully, and that's a fucking issue.
Exactly.
Not something.
That's the
Part
problem.
of. Not something I want to be a part of. So again, I don't know where I sit on it. I do know this. Like, and I try to get it to most simplest terms. If I walk into a room in my house in the middle of the night and they're screaming and there's a masked man on top of my daughter or whoever I happen to be dating at the time, and they're raping them with a knife to their throat, that person's dead. That person's going to die. If I have anything to say about it, if there's any will in it, that person's going to die. And I have no problem with that. And there's a spinoff of this. Again, this onion has so many layers, where people would say that criminals, no matter what the crime should be, should always have a path to rehabilitation. And that's another thing I struggle with. I don't know that I believe that at all. Because again, if I see something like this, I'm not going to be thinking about rehabilitating them. I'm going to be thinking about killing them. I'm going to be thinking about putting them in the dirt, period. And I'm not going to regret it either. And again, the intellectual side of me understands that, you can't control the way your brain is. You can't control the way it's set up. It's set up the way it is. But I don't give a fuck, dude. Your brain, the way your brain's set up just killed you. So, now whether the state doing it, and see, so the counter to that would be, well, you are not an impartial party. You're an emotional party. You were angry at the time. You are involved.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
The person's in my house. It's self-defense. They're saying that it's better that the state do it because at least they can approach it from an impartial point of view and give completely fair results. And I'm saying that the state's not.
Well, I think that's bullshit.
I think the state's system is largely rigged, and it's not nearly as impartial as people profess it to be. One of my favorite ways of pointing this out is, anybody remember the whole Dylan Roof situation?
Was that the Virginia thing or South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah. The guy, the white dude, the white supremacist who walked into a black church.
Yeah, shot up the church.
9 people.
Yeah.
So that guy, do you know what the white judge, and I hate to say this, but I think color does matter in this case. And I actually don't disagree with the judge in the feeling of what he's saying, but there's a time and place to say these sorts of things, and where he said it was not the right place to say it. At the opening, where the victims are actually speaking out, they're actually speaking out and actually talking to the judge and the people, the defense attorney and the prosecutor and the state and pretty much everyone there. Where that's happening, what does the judge say? Pretty much what Trump said during the Charlottesville thing. You know how Trump said there were victims and there were bad people on both sides?
On both sides. There's good and bad people on both sides.
Good on both sides. They're on both sides. What did this guy do?
Yeah.
This asshole decides to step up and say, well, the family, his family, Dylan Roof's family is suffering too. You need to, there should be some, pretty much, this isn't verbatim, but essentially there should be some sympathy there for them too.
Yeah.
They didn't, and I agree with him. His family was brought into this also, and his family also reported him. So it's not that I don't think his family deserves sympathy. What I'm saying is, people the system is going to always push back against the minorities are never going to get a clean break. It can never just be said, this dude did wrong, period. Let's handle what he did wrong. Yes, his family deserves sympathy, and they'll get it. They're going to get it regardless. They don't need, but who deserves more sympathy? The victim, his family, or the scores of people who he's affected by fucking executing 9 people in a church?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously going to affect.
Yeah,
the
and that's how
victims.
that's how judges think. This is why judges are always going to be, judges are always biased and unfair when it comes to the color of someone's skin, unless that judge has that same color, typically. And usually, we've got studies on this, judges that are minorities give much more fair sentences for black and white. And I think that's extremely telling. I think it's extremely telling. So, I don't know. I don't know if capital punishment should be around right now. Maybe capital punishment should come back later. Again, and I really don't have a stance on this. This is why I wanted opinions. I just wanted to get some thoughts out there to just lay it out. Like, I think we need some serious overhauling before we start fucking just executing people. And like you said, there's people sitting on death row who have been sitting on death row for decades.
Stop wasting my tax dollars.
And that too, and that's another thing too,
Facts.
bro. Like there's a problem with the whole life.
That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
There's a whole problem with life in prison.
We already
the stupid bullshit. The stupid bullshit like dope charges that you take someone
Barack
in
Obama
for
did a great job with that.
11 and a half months in our county jail or two years. Someone gets a little weed in these states where it's still not legal, and I don't have to worry about it so much here in Oregon because it's legal, but you got taxpayers paying to house someone that's got a fucking little baggie of dope in their pocket. Sure, maybe the harsher shit, you need to have a little more, policies in place for harsher drugs. But like weed, fuck out of here. Like, come on. Like I watched this shit on Live PD. Love Live PD. That shit makes me laugh. And we've talked about it numerous times on here. And I see these cops that are pulling dudes over, and some of them now are a little more lenient. Like, if you got some dope on you, just tell me. I don't care about the dope right now. Like, that's not my concern. But then some of these guys do. They fucking pull them over, take them, arrest them, all that sort of shit. Like, there's people in county jails, even in prisons, doing 2 years, 3 years on some stupid weed charges.
Bro.
Like, that is the least of our concerns right now, man.
I don't know if you remember what Obama did, but Obama released several thousand people who were in prison for nothing more than weed charges.
For sure. Yeah.
And that was fucking tremendous. That is tremendous. That needs to happen more often. And it needs to happen large for a lot more things, bro. Like, too many people are sitting in prison right now for things that are perfectly okay to do right now. People who went to prison in the 80s and shit for selling pounds of weed. I
can't remember if we talked about this, but it was brought up again in a news article. Did we talk about this? The dude in Mississippi or Missouri who got 12 years for a cell phone? Did we talk about that?
Whoa.
No, I never heard. That sounds
okay.
Absurd.
No.
So he got arrested, and shoot, I should have it pulled up, but I'll try to remember most of the details. He either got arrested or he got brought into like county jail. And they forgot to take his phone away from him. And at some point he had his phone on him after he went through the processing, after he got into the jail and all this stuff, and he had his phone on him. And he ends up asking...
Who fucked up?
Yeah, but then here's a little bit of stupidity on his part, but he ends up asking like a officer if they could charge his phone for him. He admits that he has his phone. Like, he's not trying to hide it. He's asking them if they could charge his phone. And I guess he just assumed they were going to let him have his phone or something. I don't know. So what ends up happening is that he gets caught with his phone, but because it's like contraband and it made it into the jail, he had some prior records and stuff. They ended up giving him 12 years. They sentenced him to 12 years because this was like a violation, and on top of prior charges and all this other bullshit, he got 12 years for a cell phone. Just for having a cell phone.
A fucking phone, huh?
Yeah. And again, it was partially on the jail's fault. They didn't take it away from him. He wasn't fucking keystering it. It wasn't in his asshole. They forgot to take it away
Somebody
from him.
let him in. Was he black? I hate to bring it back to the race, but...
you know what? Let me see if I can find the story.
I feel like that was a setup, bro. I feel like that was such a setup.
I mean,
and like, okay, we're going to have him go in.
If he wasn't black, that would be the reason he probably got to keep his phone. And he wasn't searched that thoroughly.
Right.
I mean, most black people are getting their
there's that perspective. Wow.
Up and down. This motherfucker.
You're absolutely right, bro. That is a very good way to look at it.
So it was Mississippi.
Wow.
Mississippi man gets 12 years for a cell phone. Let me see if I can get the gist here.
12 fucking years. Do you know what that is?
That's a long time, man.
That's a long time.
And if you're in a state where you got to do like 70 to 80% of that, I mean, you're in there for at least 9 years, 9 years.
Bro, but the fucked up part is there are people with rape charges that get less time. Like, are you serious? like that's really what you want to do?
Roger Stone just got 40 months. Roger fucking Stone got only 40
Willie Nash,
months.
39, married, father of 3, gets 12 years after bringing a cell phone into county jail because he asked a guard to charge his cell phone for him. Willie Nash. I mean, that sounds like he's probably a black guy.
I guess it could be, but it sounds pretty ambiguous. I don't know any black people with the last name Nash.
Neither do I.
I mean, that's
Wow.
could be. I don't fucking
Hey, go play that video I sent you. Let's go listen to some
do you
of the
want to
best.
Do you want to preface this a little bit? Like, what are we about to get into here?
Yeah, sure. 2000. This is just a throwback to the fucker right in the pussy phenomenon that took over. So this was back in 2014. It started out as a prank on YouTube. Somebody put a prank video up, and it was a setup. Like, you know, you knew there was actors doing the whole shit. So the reporter was broadcasting somewhere, like on us doing like a live shoot, and the fucking guy comes and grabs the microphone and screams right at her, "Fuck her right in the pussy." Well, people saw this and thought some dumbasses, I guess, either saw it and thought it was real, or they wanted to just see if it worked whenever they would see live shoots of real news stations. So this is just one compilation of many, but these are fucker right in the pussy clips from all around the world.
And this was a while back. Okay, this is roughly 2014.
This is 2014.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the summer of 2014.
Let's see what we got here.
Police in LA and Kern County also have use of drones. The ACL.
Right in the pussy.
Oh, we apologize for that.
They have final approval and need to have it passed.
Jesus Christ.
By mid-December.
We're sitting along Michigan Avenue.
Oh my God.
You know, when you're alive, you never know what's going to happen.
The oldest is 38. Now they face a number of charges.
What? What? Accent?
This weekend, it is a no refusal weekend.
She sounded all kinds of mad about it.
Who are you waiting to see? Who's the one person? I see a lot of panda hats everywhere I go. Is he the guy you want to see?
No, we want to see Joe Panic.
What? Was that a child? Was that a child?
That was a kid.
And they're happy to be second, even though they would have liked a first place win.
Fuck her in the pussy!
I was really nervous. Fuck her right in the pussy.
It's remarkable. 2 people in that story who lost someone to drunk driving. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Oh, I know, dude.
Using the CLEAR program, and they're also going to check to see how well it operates.
These families, their homes are broken, their belongings are broken, but they're feeling very blessed tonight.
All right, Miranda Carr, thank you very much for your time.
That guy was just running by.
You guys don't give a fuck.
Them saying there was just, they think, a bit too much talk about a sweep. I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio.
The reason I mention that is that they have experience being in hotels. Excuse me for this. Being in hotels.
Several of them, they seem to be taking a very active stance, as if anything could happen.
She's got more on the search efforts, NB.
I love the people that do it from a distance.
Me too.
Keep playing like you're playing.
Okay, that's unfortunate. We're going to send it back to the newsroom.
She said, that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Nobody lives there.
It's like, fuck her in the pussy.
Now, what was that?
Students who might be looking for an on-camera solution. Check it out. They have brought and comics for the Iron Man himself, RDJ, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one's Deadpool, but it's all right. It's still
Fuck her right in the pussy.
Wow, that's not what happened. Good morning.
Just come to the reception. Excuse me.
He's just like Las Vegas.
Enjoying their best start to a Premier League season.
I reached out to JSO.
The accent people are the best, dude.
Yeah, the accents are nuts.
Yeah, I just came here to fuck her right in the pussy.
We saw a number of emergency workers. We saw a number of emergency workers in tears. Who may have seen Shane in Manning or Roxborough or seen anything out of the ordinary. 2 o'clock. No, again, excuse me. Sorry for that.
Yes, Stevie, that feeling when you've been at a really, really good party, had a great time, but there was something missing. The only thing missing is
There are also
Oh man.
into Police Remembrance Day, which is
I
next
love
Monday.
the reporters.
Police will be marching
Funnier than the fucker right in the pussy
Yeah, the reporters
is the reporters' reactions is what I'm laughing at.
Yeah. Oh my
Because
God,
they're just so baffled that somebody would just throw them off like that. They're just doing their fucking job as robots, reading what's written, and they go, "Whoa, what the fuck just happened?" Like,
oh my God.
oh,
Incredible.
I'm gonna see.
The pros, though, and I respect the pros, because the people who were not thrown off and did not flinch are the fucking, like, they are amazing. Those are the ones who are really entertaining to see, too.
My homie, my British homie was like, "That's not what happened." I was like, "Hell no, yo."
Oh,
that shit is brilliant.
Reporters really just
My
are
stomach hurts right now.
the worst, man. The worst.
You got any more videos like that?
I got one.
Dude, there's so many.
I'm gonna
There's so
see
many
if I can
things out
find
there
it.
like
Hey, by the
that.
way,
Can you
check
want to
the
just
live
do some
chat if you can,
2019?
Dan.
I'm going to look right now. Can you see the? Just look up like 2019 news bloopers, and we'll see if we can find anything good.
I had a video too. I wanted to show. That shit was funny, bro. That was some funny shit. I can't lie, bro. That was great.
Again, 844-997-0775. If you got anything you want to talk to us about, you got questions for us, we are open books here. Hashtag CP Chat on Twitter. Twitter is where it's at for us. We are more active on Twitter than anything. If you're not following us yet, at CP Pod 100, across all social media platforms. Twitter's where it's at, though.
There's so many YouTube comments, by the way, to catch up on. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Romy, who is also watching. I know that there was some people who were checking us out on Facebook, so shout out to you guys, whoever's over there. Shout out to Shay. She's watching as well. And I mean, like, all you guys, thank you for showing love, yo, for real.
Oh, here it is. This is a funny clip. I may have played this for you guys before, but I don't know that I played it on live. This is a good one.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The fuck is that? Shit!
What?
What
the hell just happened?
Fucked up town.
Damn. What's happening? Like, what's
Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck
What?
I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker.
Dude.
That's a reporter turns ghetto.
That was the
he's
reporter?
reporting
That
down-
live?
Whoa,
Yeah,
back up.
that's
That was the that. Whoa,
yeah.
hold on. I thought that was two people. That was the same
This is a
reporter.
reporter. This is a reporter in the South.
That, that was him and him. Like the first person was him. Yeah, play that again.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris
That's
Wood's
him,
death?
right?
The fuck is that?
Was that the same? That's the same guy?
Yes. Yes.
Dude, holy shit! That's the same dude. He don't even.
I didn't know either, bro. I didn't know either.
Bro, low-key, I thought it was
didn't know
two
either,
people.
bro.
I thought it was two people.
I didn't know either, bro.
Holy shit. Yo, I thought it was...
He said, let's get the fuck out this country, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Oh.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Wow.
Do you remember the gay weatherman who freaked out about the roach?
No.
That's a classic. Go look that up. Gay weatherman.
I love when
Roach.
people fart on air too. Like speaking of farting earlier. When you get a news anchor.
Oh,
or somebody
dude,
that
the
farts on
Wendy
air.
Williams.
The Wendy Williams
fart
one
is
was
always
pretty
going to be
fucking
classic.
Oh, but my whole
The
thing
one-
is, why is she? Dude, she's still trying to deny it. This bitch is still
I
trying
don't
to
know
deny.
why she did that,
why
bro.
Is she
Why?
doing that?
She tried to.
She's
and
a
then
woman
she
in
had
her
this
60s.
Whole elaborate
60s.
like thing that they
She did a
would
whole
have
9-minute
science guy
bit on it.
Yeah. And then, but it was like she said that there was a science guy going to be coming on the show that day, and they were like doing something with the hoses and the gases backstage, and she had like her producer come out and take the fall for it. Like, fuck out of here! You had a chili dog at lunchtime because you like chili dogs, and that shit was creeping out your booty, and it wasn't. It didn't work in your
Bro,
favor.
she stopped in the middle of the fucking sentence. Like, you didn't hear her stop?
Like, she pushed it. She pushed it. She pushed it.
Yeah, dude, there was that push. Like,
Let's see. Is this the gay one?
Be pushing across Central Florida, so places like Orlando,
This is
Daytona
it.
Beach, the Cape Canaveral area, Vero Beach will be getting in on the heavier rainfall, and eventually that should. I am so sorry, Bill. Oh my God! This is what just happened. That thing was crawling on my leg. Oh God! If that. Oh my God! That is! Oh my
Oh, that's hilarious. Gay Weatherman. What was the one we were just looking at? Just talking about?
we were talking about the fart. We were talking about the Wanda Williams fart, but
The Wendy Williams fart. Yeah.
yeah, dude. See if you can find it. She probably was so insecure about it, she probably took it down. I can't believe you would deny a fart. Just people fart. If she's that hard up for content,
Yeah, of course, he probably knows it's not right from a man to a woman or a woman to a man, but you can't even do that locker room thing. That cop wasn't playing that. I mean, you're lucky you only got that.
She straight paused.
Hold on. Play it again, play it again, play it again.
Yeah, play it.
Odell, at
Play it
20
again.
years old, you're old enough to understand political correctness in the times that we live now. People on the booty. Yeah, of course, he probably knows it's not right from a man to a woman or a woman to a man, but you can't even do that locker room thing. That cop wasn't playing that. I mean, you're lucky you only got battered.
Bro.
Try to deny
Dude, you
that.
can't deny it. Bro, you know what's worse. Let me tell you what happened.
Bro.
Not only did she pause while she was letting it out, she paused beforehand too, bro. Like, you knew that chili dog was
Like, she
coming
knew
out.
it was coming. She was
It was
wondering.
like, she knew it. Bro. Oh, low-key, she knew, bro. Oh, my God. That shit is wonderful. I don't know how you deny some shit like that. Why would you? Hey, but real shit, though, Adam, to peep game, right? Check the Comfortably Poured chat, and I just sent a 6-minute compilation of all the best farts ever done on live television.
Lord of mercy.
You knew I was quiet for a reason, nigga. I was in here not saying shit.
This is like porn to Brando. See, Brando has his bookmarked as instead of Pornhub, he's got fart compilations.
This man has a whole folder under his bookmarks, bro.
Hey, bro, I can see you, bro. I got a Brazilian.
The fact that you pulled that up in such...
It didn't take long, bro. It didn't take long. Where did you put it? In our text message.
I'm interested to see your likes, bro.
Text message. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing your likes.
I'm scared. I got some shit.
Hold down the conversation for a minute.
Oh my god!
I am so taken aback right now with how fast you fucking.
I went in and just. Oh, I had to, bro.
Swift, bro. It was swift.
It was quick, bro. We had to get to it.
844-997-0775 if you want to call us.
Yeah.
Some of the best moments on television that you can remember.
Fucker in the pussy.
I love these things, especially when people are trying to make 9-minute bits out of trying to disprove their fart. That was clearly them. And that shit was so... Obvious. Oh, my God. She let that shit rip, boy.
She did, bro. And the thing is, right? Like it wasn't. That fart was like a fart, like a French Canadian, bro. That fart sounded sharp. That fart sounded like cheese, nigga. That shit did. Good God, bro. Wendy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. Were her pants tight? I wonder, were her pants tight? Like, do you think her pants was tight?
I'm not sure, but you know what I will say. So I think when the Breakfast Club talked about it, they said that there was a little shift.
She lifted one cheek up. She lifted one cheek up. Did she? She
was leaning
in the seat. Yeah, man.
Like she leaned forward. She had the right hip lifted up in the air a little bit.
Yo. But this is one of those stories that in about 7 years, you know, she's gonna come out and say like, you know, some food really upset my stomach that day, and it wasn't my fault. I really didn't know how to deal with it, but I've grown as a person. I can admit it now. It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah, kind of like what she did with her coke habit.
Yeah, don't be afraid of a little bit of candy, Wendy. Come on. We know your nostrils aren't big for no reason. Put a motherfucking 100 up that bitch and just fucking go across a CD case. In one go.
I don't know. My phone's not wanting to work right now. Unless you can.
Can I send it?
If you want to email it, inbox@comfortablypoor.com.
Like, what is it again? Inbox@comfortablypoor.com, right?
Inbox@comfortablypoor.com.
Okay.
Anybody else, if you ever want to email articles, videos, anything like that you find funny, off the wall, inbox@comfortablypoor.com. Again, lines are open, 844-997-0775 or 442-244-9900. Hit us up with your questions, comments, anything like that. Maybe you got a question for us or you want to share a story.
At CP Pod 100.
Yes, sir.
Across all platforms, too, man. Make sure you're linked in with us on Twitter, Facebook.
While he's doing that, I did want to talk about this story, and then we'll come back around. We'll wrap it up with hilarious broadcast farts. There's a story that came out in the news today. A Wisconsin kid is suing his high school because they're refusing to let him wear a shirt that has an assault rifle on it. And it's becoming a big deal. And so I wanted to get, he's a big advocate for guns and gun rights and all that kind of stuff. And I was just curious what you guys think about this as he's trying to sue his school because he says that it's his freedom of speech to wear a shirt with a gun on it if he wants to. And I wanted to see which direction you guys were kind of going with this, if in favor of the school or in favor of the student, or where you fell with this.
I would like to. I would like to see what Brando thinks, because he is a gun.
So why he's still doing that? Because it's hard for him.
Oh,
to
he's doing that.
multitask.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I will say that I'm in the middle here. I a little bit. Okay, here's my one thing. I agree, freedom of speech, and it's fucking close. You should be able to wear whatever you want to wear. But at the same time, I know it's just a shirt, but with all the school shootings that we have and students losing their lives and things like that, like, why even bring the slightest bit of attention to something like that in a high school? Like, just wear it in the evening time, wear it on the weekend.
I see your point.
Why would you even bring that into the school and just make
I'm
that
actually
a
shocked
thought?
you take that position. I really am.
Why?
Because you lean to more. I sometimes see you lean to more kind of like centrist right views sometimes, depending on the
I'm
subject.
definitely way more liberal than I am conservative.
Okay, well then I'm wrong. Well, I just peg you from the West Coast.
I just and this will be quick because I this is really brief. I don't care. I really don't care. I understand where people who have a problem with the gun, who have problem with gun rights.
I just think it's so
general.
retarded, dude.
I don't really see a problem with it, but schools are gonna do what they want to do. I mean, there are definitely some schools in Mississippi who don't give a fuck, and there are definitely some schools up north who are going to care. And if they have a problem with it, they have a problem with it. You know, I don't really give a fuck.
My brother risked wearing a shirt about, with a fucking squirrel and a fucking nuts joke. Nuts in your mouth joke. We wanted to push the limits to see if we could wear that. Of course, cover it up. But this whole big deal of like, it's just too much. It's too much. Let the fucking kid wear a fucking shirt. He doesn't have a gun in the school. Then just whatever. How much softer are we going to let the world get, bro? If we continue to let that shit happen, then I'm telling you, we just continue to go in the fucking really negative direction we're going, man.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that's where I'm a little bit on that side, but then, and that's with these circumstances, with this scenario, I don't know, I'm on the same side as the kid, but then I get it from the school's point of view of, look, there's enough for us to be concerned about in today's society with guns and kids bringing guns into school and shooting up the school that it's one thing it's one less thing that we need. We don't need guns on shirts. We don't need the promotion of guns just to kind of add fuel to the fire that we already have to kind of think about. Like,
sure, I'll side with you on that for sure. I'll side with you.
I'm all for the kid wearing it. Go for it. But it's just like time and place, man. Time and place. And maybe school's not the right place to wear that shirt. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. It was just an interesting topic.
No, I'm not I'm not mad at that position, bro. I'm just really afraid of the sensitivity is like how much more are we gonna censor it? You know what I mean? Like how much more? That's my fear. My fear is censorship more so than like the guns, because like unfortunately the saddest thing about our country and the fact that we swim in a sea of guns is the fact that it's gonna happen if it's gonna happen. It's like a murder, right? If somebody wants to kill me, they're just gonna kill me.
So
It's not going to be like
if guns go away, what's going to be the next biggest thing that kills people? Like what kills people second to guns, I guess.
Well, they say, you know, attacks happen less because of the strict gun shit in like places like England, like, you know, like London specifically. And a lot of that stuff, though, it turns into knives. But you can commit less crime. That's their position, is that you can commit.
Okay. So my question, but I asked that to point this out, right? If guns go away and knives, see, I don't think it's knives. I think it's probably something like car deaths or cigarette deaths, something crazy like that. Whatever it is that is the second to guns. I was just wondering if anyone knew, but whatever it is, insert whatever the fuck that might be. If someone wears that on a shirt, are we gonna have a problem with it then? That's my whole thing. Like, where
dude,
is this actually gonna stop?
I guess I
was making a point earlier, though.
I sent it already.
Yeah.
When I was making a point earlier, though, I was thinking about this. I was thinking how well if it kind of makes sense, right, in the way that we've gone in the sensitivity in the world, because you think about like how Halloween costumes changed. You couldn't do like a ninja costume anymore with a sword. You couldn't you can't do that kind of shit now. It has to be these little innocent costumes, and if it's not, you can't wear it to school.
Like a pumpkin. You gotta be a goblin.
You can't do
something
the serial
cutesy.
Killer costumes anymore. You can't do the
You can't be Jeffrey Dahmer.
I was the scream guy.
You can't rape male prostitutes and then eat them. Nope.
I was the ski mask killer. The in Scream.
I dressed up like a big giant penis.
Of course you did.
Yep.
A big butthole with a fart coming out of it.
Exactly.
I was gonna say he would dress up like the shit emoji. If he was a kid nowadays. You'd be a smiling walking pile of shit.
Yep.
We'll walk it off with this.
Okay, good.
As I am.
Do you take your clothes off?
I can't say.
Has it something to do with wind? Did you just did you just
I
shark
had a big
shark.
Excuse me.
Is this what you've done?
No, it's
not for trumping. You've just got crap wind.
Yourself. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Do you know, I have no idea. I don't know. Okay, well, we give up on that one. It's got nothing to do with the trumping, but it is censored. So let's find out who he is.
See you later. More than 2 million people in the UK have put money into Irish banks, often backed by good interest rates.
Yeah, that shit vibrated the motherfucking chair, boy.
Yeah, it was hard, bro.
To those savings.
Thank goodness Paul Lewis from Ready For's Money Box is here to help us through all of this.
Nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah.
Several Golden Globes.
Yeah. I think it's one of the first stories that really talks about our experience post 9/11, and it's our identity was really questioned, and I think it explores that in a really smart way.
Well, I was going to say.
Oh, excuse me. I think I just blew a little frog out of there.
What?
The safety of the nation.
That was Whoopi.
As you see it's in her hands, and she's kind of Looney Tunes. No, not even kind of. As her insanity escalates, so does her ability to actually suss the problem out.
There's a relationship in love, too, which is complex.
Even when she suspects him of being a terrorist,
She knows the fart's coming.
She does. That's why she's stammering.
De una vez aprovecho para decir que no, que sí me gusta, por supuesto, soy de Guadalajara, me encanta el tequilita, un vinito tinto para una carne, como el...
Whoa! That came from the depths of the belly. Yo!
It sounded like they were sitting on a fucking ghetto-ass mattress. You know, niggas have a cheap-ass mattress in their living room.
Sí, claro.
No, hay que
That's just.
cuidarse, ¿no? O sea,
Pero nos llevamos muy bien.
I think we need to be careful because Brando might be getting turned on right now.
Nu är det slut för den här veckan, men ni ser oss på måndag igen. Hej då!
Whoa!
Adam.
Why are farts so damn funny?
Because we know what they feel like and we love doing it. That's the thing. Like, we all know what a good fart feels like. We all know, dude. Like, it's not a secret.
Saw me, I doubt it. Anyway, next week is.
Was that a fart? Wait. Can you rewind that? Wait, can we go back?
Yo.
Can we? Yeah, it did.
Thanksgiving's secrets revealed.
You just end up knowing that if you turn your head away, he's going to try to put something over on you, slip something in. Yeah. And you end up participating. It's just a minute
Hold
now.
up.
He's going to do something. I understand what he's up to now, and you really start to watch what's happening. That's the other thing about
This is not a newscast.
Sounds a great film too. Sounds a great film to work on. We'll chat.
Anything you want to say, go ahead.
We'll chat more later on. Stay with us.
Yes.
What did I just hear?
I heard it, but
I heard it.
And pull your forehead in. Grab hold to your shin.
Oh, yoga farts.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's.
Oh, that was a queef. Over here. She queefed.
She's got a whole audience there.
She got laid that morning.
Madam President?
Yes.
I move to add emergency clause.
Second adding emergency clause.
And discussion? Mayor, would you like to?
Whoa.
Dude, her ass
that was a squeaker.
Her ass cried.
Yeah.
That was one of those ones where you try so hard not to let it come out. Your cheeks are so tight. Like,
oh, dude, your hamstrings are hurting. They're sore.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Can't make this stuff up. This is a revolving loan that comes from Community Development Block Grant money. We've been working on this with the state for literally months. It's been passed through the county.
That shit, where the other one struggled to come out, that one was like, nah, nigga, I'm coming out.
We ought to have a reset.
Televisie. Jawel.
Oké.
Ja?
Ja, zeker.
Ja?
Pakken we even die beginpresentatie was goed. Ik pak die laatste vraag maar even op.
Ja.
Ja?
I think she said fuck 5-0.
Dude, I think she shits herself. I think I remember this.
Niemand minder dan John van de Heuvel. John, hi, mijn eerste vraag aan jou. Wat vind jij nou, naast jouw eigen programma, de beste misdaadprogramma's op televisie?
Ja, dat is toch het programma wat eigenlijk al jaren...
She's breathing heavy. Here it comes.
VTR de Vries.
Ja.
Dat is natuurlijk een beetje concurrent van me, maar ja, op zich...
Ja?
Ja?
Oh, jongens,
Nou.
ik heb een ongelukje. Ik ben...
Oh, it's hurting her.
She's about to shit herself. Yep, she shit herself.
Oh, she's gonna shit.
Yeah, I don't
my
know why
God.
they added this one. She didn't fart, dude. I don't know why they added this one to
Dat je dat even kan...
I remember this.
Wow.
He said, whoa!
Wait.
Yeah. Yo, I remember seeing that, bro. I don't know why they put that in a fart compilation because she did not fart herself. And I'm going to tell you where I saw that. That was in another compilation I saw. I've got a video of a girl throwing up on live television also.
That's tough.
Yeah, dude, I got some wild shit.
Oh.
That shit is insane.
Hey, dude. Instructed to check the email for one more news video for a fart. This fart. There was
I obviously you
report
guys
later.
see what we get a giggle out of. If you got any fart videos,
any
anything
fart
like
videos,
this,
any
inbox,
Dude, we're stupid.
any chick
comfortablypoor.com.
shitting herself. If you send a guy shitting himself, I'm gonna come to your house and kill you. Don't do it. But yeah, all of that shit's great. Just send it in. This shit is great. There's other stuff we get to giggle out
That
of too.
woman
Cops
shitting
overdosing
herself
would be
is
great too. That shit is excellent.
the craziest thing
And
I
again,
think.
Yeah, I think Dan's days just got changed.
Yo,
Dan is sitting in his chair
comments,
like, hold the
anything
fuck
like
up.
that as well.
I was like,
Articles,
okay.
inbox,
I was just expecting farts,
Yeah, and then she started breathing heavy. He was like, hold up, what's going on?
and that bitch really just.
She started breathing heavy. She started swallowing like, oh God. like her shit just dropped out of the bottom of her stomach.
yeah.
The job is not that important.
Yeah.
I would
walk off the
rather
stage,
go
walk-
and
walk
shit.
off.
I would rather go to the bathroom than shit on live television.
Facts.
Oh my God.
100%.
But I'm glad. Hey, listen, I'm glad she didn't.
What
It's
is this one
great
here? Hold
viewing
on,
pleasure
here.
for
There's another
Brando.
one here.
Who were on the phone listening to the president talk about this swap of dirt for U.S. military aid.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint
Oh, that's, yeah.
To help him cheat an election. Jesus.
That was a good one. But they came out with an explanation of this one like everyone else. Like, comes out with.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They always do.
They
listening to the president talk about this swap of dirt for U.S. military aid.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that
He said, cheat an election.
The explanation that comes out.
No, I know.
is that
That's why we wanted
somebody
to
had
bring
a
this up.
coffee mug. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Somebody claims that they took a coffee mug and they were sliding it across the desk.
Then why did he pause like that?
Then why did he pause like that? And why did he kind of
I don't know.
fade back
I'm
in?
just saying that was
he
the explanation
faded
that
back
came
in.
out.
He comes right back in, cheat an election. No, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't a coffee
Come
mug.
on,
It was
bro.
the coffee in your fucking stomach that was making that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
But when
come on.
I heard that the next day or two or whatever that came out, because I remember when this happened, and they said it was a coffee mug. I went back and listened to it again. I was like, I can hear it though. I can hear a fart, and I can.
Come on, you're such a fucking. You're such a little sucker, man.
I'm just saying.
You also fall for Black Friday deals, don't you?
I'm not saying it's one way or the other. I'm just saying I get what they're saying. I can hear what they mean by it's a cup.
That man let it out, and it came
Of course.
nice and clear.
Of course, I hear
Just
a
like
fart,
the rest of these
but
fuckers.
I also know what it sounds like when a cup drags across the tabletop. I get what they're saying there.
Yeah,
The
me
sound
too.
is
And that
similar.
wasn't it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can
That
hear
wasn't
it.
it.
If you were to tell me it was one or the other, I'd be like, yeah, that probably is.
Yo, that's great.
Yeah, so
I love
send
how
in your
immature
fart
we just
compilation
were.
Videos.
Yeah, that was
For
great.
sure.
That was
For
great
sure.
fun.
That
no
100%.
better fun than
100%.
that.
Inbox at comfortablypoor.com. Send your videos, send your articles, anything like that. Questions, comments, anything. 844-997-0775, 442-244-9900. You can also text 442-244-9900 with questions, comments. Hit us up. We're open books. Anything you want to know about us, all that kind of good shit. Let us know for the next episode. And at CP Pod 100 across all social media platforms. Fuck with us.
Fuck it up. Have an incredible week. You know, new episodes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
For sure.
Hell yeah.